Yeah, okay. Okay, this is Matt Wood calling the Energy Committee meeting for January 14th to order. It's 6:34 right now. And we have a quorum with 4 members, 2 members here in person and 2 online. And the first item on the agenda is public comment. So do we have anyone here for public comment? Doesn't look like anyone is online.
Nope,
Did you have public comment or you're here for the,
just listen.
you guys are on the agenda, so, okay. Okay, next item is the approval of the draft December 10th meeting minutes. I read through those. I thought they were great. I didn't see any items for correction. Did anyone else see anything that needed amending? No? Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt the minutes as written?
This is Reed. I'll make a motion to adopt them as written.
Okay, anyone second that?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
And then you have to vote.
Oh, yeah, so I call a vote to approve the minutes as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
so we have 4 ayes. Any nays? No.
Okey-doke.
Moving right along, looks like the next item on the agenda is Kevin, is it Unrath?
That's right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome, Kevin.
Thank you,
He's
sir.
your director of the library and go ahead.
So I have a little bit, a couple pages that I'll just bring you up to speed on. So Kevin Unrath, I took over as the director from Jane, who was a wonderful director last April, so fairly new to Williston. It's been a wonderful community to be a part of. I've been in Vermont for about a little over a dozen years. I was in Middlebury and then in Shelburne. Now I'm here. And I've been a librarian for 28 years. So I love talking about libraries and this potential project. So 10,000 foot overview, this project, which will be on the ballot town meeting day for a bond, proposes renovating our current space, adding about the same amount of space, about 11,000 square feet and a 2-story addition. And then doing some work on the town green as well to add some paths and some spaces, some gathering spaces. In terms of public libraries, I like to say that public libraries have been part of the green movement and the sharing economy for over 200 years. So we've been part of the sharing economy before that term was invented. We obviously contribute to sustainability by extending the efficiency and the life cycle of resources through shared use. So some examples of that are our meeting rooms, are places people can come. A lot of people think of the library as a community living room. I'd like to think those that are downsizing from larger houses potentially might think of the library as a place they can come instead of building an office or having a house that has that extra space in it. So we don't just provide, shared books, but also shared resources. We have a library of things in a similar manner. So, if you don't own 75 sets of silverware, you don't have to go buy them. We loan those out. We loan out a large format telescope. We loan out thermal energy cameras and various other things that you can borrow instead of having to buy one in every house. So I ran an interesting calculation recently for a presentation that I gave. The typical book in a library circulates 26 times before it has to be replaced. So they wear and tear over time. If you look at the amount of books we circulated last year, it was around 100,000 print items. We also circulated electronic items. An average tree can make 100 books. And a typical book is made of 80% new paper. I'm not going to give you the entire long equation. But what that equals is last year we saved 796 trees in Williston and over 20,000 trees in the state of Vermont through using a public library as a shared resource rather than everybody buying those books individually. But we've run out of space in the Dorothy Allen Library to add any more books, which people are using our library extensively. Every time we add a book, we have to take another book out. So our circulation in terms of our print material is pretty much at a standstill right now because we don't have the space we need to provide the collection that people want here. So that's the basic impetus behind this project is we've run out of space. Some other things that I want to think about before we go into the details of the project and talk about the energy are the changing climate that we see in Vermont. So libraries increasingly act in a couple important capacities in communities. One is as an emergency response center. So it's the flooding that we experienced in 2023 and 2024. A lot of libraries were able to be that place where people who had lost their homes, lost their internet access, lost their ability to apply for FEMA funding or just communicate with people were able to go. I worked with the Department of Libraries, and there were many stories of libraries being places that were part of this emergency response. People could come, they could get access to a cool location that had a printer and internet access, which was very important. Libraries also are increasingly places people come to both get out of the cold weather when it's cold out, like now, and also get out of the extreme heat. A lot of folks in Vermont do not still have air conditioning in their homes, so we've been experiencing more and more extreme heat, even in Vermont. And so libraries are listed as one of the places that are cooling centers on the state website. And we do see people come in on really hot days. We've actually stayed open late so that people would be able to utilize the library as a cooling center if they needed that. So a couple other things I think that are important to think about in relation to libraries. Regarding this specific project, and thank you again for inviting me, I did speak with the project architect, John Hemmelgarn, and his associate Heather Mooney, and then the consulting engineer, Dan Ducross. And they gave me a rundown of the energy related aspects of the project, and I'll just give you the bulleted points. So we're going to renovate the existing space, and the existing space is what you see now. The brick building was built in 1960. There was a small addition that was put on in 1986, which is here. And then another addition put on in 1998, which is here. So that would be renovated in addition to the proposed expansion, which is over here, which would be facing the school. So obviously renovating that enables us to maintain the embodied carbon that was in the original 3 buildings and not have to build a 22,000 square foot building from scratch, but really only build half that size building. So that's a real benefit. The renovated spaces will receive upgrades to all of their systems. We're definitely going to have heat pumps. We don't know at this point if it's going to be ground source or air source heat pumps. That's something that's spec'd for air source heat pumps, and the project engineer Dan mentioned that he also worked on some library projects recently that did ground source heat pumps, like the South Burlington combined library and town hall and senior center, also the Ilsley Library renovation and expansion in Middlebury. He said that when they looked at the site for this, it wasn't as conducive to ground source heat pumps because of the limited space and that was available for the drilling. But it's something that I think that we're open to considering as an option, but we're definitely looking at a minimum at air source heat pumps, both for the expansion, the new space, and the renovation of the old space. So both spaces will be fossil fuel free and all electric. There will be significant envelope improvements, so all the siding's gonna come off, there's gonna be insulation. And all of the renovated space, there'll also be new insulated windows, doors. And currently it's not spec'd to redo the roof was actually done not too long ago, and there was insulation added. But it's my understanding that some of the ductwork that's up there may or may not be insulated in that building envelope. And so if it's not in the building envelope, it will be made to go in the building envelope. So one way or the other. So they've looked at that. And then the new construction portion of the building, again, heat pumps currently spec'd for air source heat pumps. There's a fireplace, it's gonna be electric, it's not gonna be gas. Again, sticking with fossil fuel free. I was the library director when we built the Pearson Library in Shelburne. And there was some consternation over us putting in 2 electric fireplaces there. They turned out to be really just fine. They were a good example to people in the community of what an electric fireplace could be, I think. Incidentally, that building won Efficiency Vermont's the best award, a large commercial award at Better Buildings by Design in 2020, which was awesome. We did have solar to make that building net zero. We don't have solar spec'd, but we want to look at potential for solar on the new building. So south is, we haven't done the solar study, but south is essentially this way. That's the south. So the potentials for solar would be this flat area, which does not have systems on top of it. They're actually underneath. And then I would say probably the eaves that are on this building. And the building itself was built, just as an aside, to try to mimic the vernacular architecture that you see on Williston Road and in the older sections of the building. That's why there's all these eaves that are here, because the second floor especially has lower ceilings and has a lot more what I would think of as the way a traditional library looks. So that's why the roof line is kind of complicated, as opposed to roof lines that you see on many contemporary buildings, because it's supposed to look complicated.
Could you
Yes.
do me a favor and just scoot that model
Yeah.
closer to you, so
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
Oh, there, you can sort of make, it's white though, so.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I
okay.
apologize.
No, that's all right.
I can also refer to, you can't see the roof line on the diagram,
Right.
unfortunately.
Okay. It's
But I'd be
okay.
happy if anybody wants to come by my office, I'll just talk about the project. Let's see, so the potential for rooftop is certainly there, and it's something I would want us to be looking at. It's not something that we've spec'd one way or the other, but there aren't any trees that are gonna be, I think, in the way of the solar view that's here, so. And that's my rundown, that's what I have.
Is there, the large tree that's currently right here by the parking area, is that gonna be removed?
It will be, and it really, we've been told it should be regardless of whether this goes forward because of the location that it's in. It's a silver poplar. Sits right about there, and it's towards the end of its life, even though it's one of the more beautiful trees I've seen. But it just doesn't have enough space right there, and if it was to fall, it would potentially negatively impact the building.
I know it's already cabled. quite a
Yeah,
bit, but-
Yeah, it's a wonderful tree. It is a non-native and invasive. But overall, the project's gonna see a net gain of 3 trees on the site, even though that tree is gonna go, and some of the trees where the parking is would go, but we're gonna see 42 trees versus the 39 that are currently there. And obviously, they're native species. The parking that is here is also gonna go. So right now it's diagonal parking, and this is gonna be made into a little bit more green space with a walkway, and all of the parking will be behind the building.
So he's referring, for those that aren't in the room, he's referring to the parking right along the library lane in
Right.
front of the current
Mhm.
building. That's gonna
Yep.
go. It is hard to back out of that, especially when there's a lot of people turning in. Sometimes they don't anticipate someone right there.
Yeah, just,
So it might be safer, though this could kind of be a mess getting in and out of here.
anytime that school's letting out or schools
Yeah.
are coming in, you don't wanna be driving down that road. But other times of the day, I think this will be safer, because the diagonal backing out is just.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a
But
nightmare.
that's gonna remain one way, right? So this is really the only exit out of the whole complex.
Yeah, that's the only exit, although we will be adding a left turn lane, so it'll have a right turn
Oh.
lane and a left turn lane,
Okay,
which
That's-
the school asked
that will
for
help a
for
lot.
safety.
Yeah.
Good question, though.
Great.
What other questions do you have? And I apologize, I don't have a good view for you online, but please do stop by anytime. I'd be happy to review it in person.
Thank you. Reed has his hand up. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Reed.
Hi, hey, and thank you for coming. We spoke a few weeks ago. I'm down in South Carolina, so sorry I can't be there. So when the architects came in and designed this with heat pump systems, did they do a cost analysis versus natural gas to prove the point that the heat pumps were the right thing to do, or besides the right thing to do, the right thing economically to do? Do you know if they did a cost comparison?
Yeah, thank you for that question. They did do a cost comparison. I can get that to you. It was done with three options. One was heat pumps in the new building and leaving what's currently there, which are standalone air conditioning units and a gas-fired boiler, as option one. Option two, all air source heat pumps. Option three, ground source heat pumps. And the most economical return on investment was the air source heat pumps. So yes, that was done. And those were the three choices that they compared. It
Thanks.
was relatively close between the ground source and the air source heat pumps for, I don't know how many years they went out on it, but it wasn't a gigantic difference. The initial investment, as you all know, I'm sure, was much higher for the ground source. And then you gain that back slowly over time. It didn't quite gain back what the initial investment would be. But yes, those were gained out.
Good. Thank
And
you.
then, do you happen to know in those cost analysis if they accounted for, both state, incentives and the federal tax credits? The federal tax credits for source heat pumps are gone now, whereas for ground source heat pumps, there still is that 30% tax credit.
I don't know, and even
Is
if
that for
they.
commercial though, too? It is.
And even if they
Yeah.
did, I would say we ought to do it again before moving forward because of the ever-changing landscape of incentives.
Yeah,
So I would say either way, as close to when we would be breaking ground as possible, I would say we should run those again to get a sense of whether it's changed because of the fact that the ground source still has potentially better incentives now.
Mhm.
I definitely, and that is on our radar. But it's a very good point, and I think we want to run those numbers again.
Mhm.
Who pays the electric?
The town.
The town does?
Yeah, we're part of the municipality. Yeah.
Did you?
May I interject at all? My name is Debbie New and I coordinate Vermont Community Thermal Networks, and I've been supporting the Williston TENS working group. And I know you've talked with Reed Carr about the potential opportunity after town meeting to look at a ground source heat pump system. So members of our group are doing research to be able to provide the library board, et cetera, the town, information about other library projects. Sounds like the engineer is in the know about the Middlebury one, but also libraries that are anchors for networks to think about that for the future. after the library project is done. So I just wanted to make sure everybody here knows we're doing research on this. And also as someone who's advocating for more ground source heat pumps and thermal energy networks statewide, I am working hard on collecting grant opportunities for projects such as through the Northern Border Regional Commission. And I can talk more about that with interested people at some point. But with federal incentives and grants for energy gone, there are grants that are available through economic development pathways. Heating infrastructure is still available while renewable energy grants are not available. So I just wanted to mention that it is not necessarily all in the Williston taxpayers, and we can work on grants to make a ground source heat pump system make sense.
Has Northern Borders funded a ground source project? Cause
Certainly not a
chased-
network,
they've
but
chased some of that money for solar and hydro, and
yeah,
they're not interested.
right. That's what I was told by the Vermont person, Christy. Farnham. Yeah, that she, basically I've been told, don't apply for renewable energy projects because you won't get the grant. But if you have a system that is core community infrastructure,
It was that other
could be
pathway.
eligible, yeah.
And then are you all gonna look into this issue with, there's not enough space apparently? Or,
Well,
cause I
I'm
think in one of
looking,
the earlier discussions, that never wasn't really raised as a concern, the lack of space, right?
Uh-huh. just looking at the land around the library, I'm seeing parking lots and I'm seeing green space. And all of that, including possibly some land at the school, looks like geothermal bore field to me that can then be covered over. But I'm not an engineer.
Yeah.
Definitely very above my head. I think you know a lot more than me. But yeah, I think it's definitely worthwhile to see what we're able to. If we're able to see some of the potential financial savings that are there, and go with a preferred. Energy wise, a preferred source of heating and cooling. And I do think that our project engineer does have a good beat on it, since he did,
Mhm.
you know, some municipal projects that did both ground source and air source. So I think he'd certainly be open to you know, meeting and talking through it and trying to figure out if it's something that's doable.
Great, what company is he with?
Uh,
He
he is with, no, and I think he may be on his own, but
Okay,
hold on, I'll get it for you.
okay.
Yeah.
Something like Energy Engineering Services of Vermont.
That is it.
Okay,
Yes,
that's the
well done.
Middlebury Library project.
Yeah,
then.
Thank
Okay,
you, that's it,
Okay.
yeah. And they also did consult, I think, on the software Williston,
okay, great.
so which
Great.
is ground source.
Great. And I would just add other federal reasons to go with ground source or incentives that aren't tax credits are that direct pay is still intact. So that means that could be a check from the IRS. If there is a need for a bridge loan, Vermont Bond Bank is aware of that need and could be consulted. And then there's a new leasing provision, which would allow a third-party company to provide the infrastructure and equipment to be paid back over time. So that's a question if the town might want to do that or not, but that would allow the system to go in with no or very low upfront cost. So I just want to make sure you're aware that there are those three things.
What's the funding cliff for that on the ITC for the ground source, you know? Like the
Are you
date,
for leasing or no?
well, any of it, but when does that all fall?
Oh, I see what you're asking. Yeah, 2035. The tax credits are intact until then.
Plenty of time. Hopefully it doesn't take that long.
Oh, I didn't talk about the construction timeframe, I should mention
Yeah,
that, so
that-
I think it's applicable.
Yeah.
So if the bond passes with the vote in March, the goal would be to break ground the next spring, so spring of 2027. Just because of, you know, how you have to send projects to bid, and you can't start a project in the late fall. So we wouldn't be breaking ground for basically another year. And completion, the goal would be, late 2028, and it would be phased such that we would keep library operations going in the old building. Then when this was finished, we would move from the old building to the new building, and then they would do the renovations in the old building. And I'm assuming that they'd probably do this first, and then this would be, or this would be there where they'd be staging, since it's right across from the elementary middle school.
Yeah.
So,
That's exciting.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
bond passes.
Yeah,
Um,
Thank-
yeah, and I'm, like I said, if any questions come up, I'm always happy to talk about the project. It's exciting possibility, and I really do appreciate it right here.
yeah. Thanks for coming. I'm excited about also just reworking some of this addition. I didn't realize like so much of the green would be involved too.
Yeah.
Now the
Mhm.
parking over here and everything makes sense.
Yeah, we've been working with the town band to try to make them a little bit bigger performance space, because they can't fit in the band shell right now. They have too many band members. So this will be a new outdoor space for them. And of course, there aren't any paths now, so this will make it a little more accessible to be able to go onto the town green. But the view shed from Williston Road is gonna be very much the same. Both the addition being behind the building and down a little bit, it's like the 1.5 instead of 2-story, and then the parking. So you don't get a visual disruption of the green. That was a real goal of the architects. So,
The biggest change visually is gonna be the removal of that tree there, I think is gonna
yeah, I think so, yeah.
be striking, but.
Hmm.
Okay,
That's an admirable project. I think it's taken a lot into account, for the needs of the town, the excitement of the town of needing a library, which a lot of smaller towns are struggling with, and Williston's showing that it's got the support. And I hope you have a big campaign to get the bond vote out as in March.
Well, as a town employee, I'm not gonna tell people to vote yes or no. But I will say, please learn about the project, ask questions, and do get out there and vote.
Yeah,
I could say it's a great project and there is a cost.
yeah, yes.
and we can't go either way either, right, as the energy committee, we can't,
What's that?
are we able to like. Push people towards approving this or anything like that? or-
No,
No, it's political,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, you can always provide information,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
do that kind of outreach. But
Well, in meetings like this, they allow us to provide, detailed level of information on a subset of the project that I'm sure a lot of people are interested in. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that, just getting that word out. So, thank you.
If there's no other questions about the library expansion, I did actually, this just popped in my head. I did want to, kind of digress to discuss at least the bookmobile
Yeah.
and,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
yes.
so, so I don't know if you're aware of this, but the town had a fleet, basically a fleet electrification, planning, report done with, Vermont Energy Investment Corp. And, they looked at, one of the vehicles they looked at was the bookmobile, and they suggested that, be considered for an electric vehicle when it comes time to replace, and they had a number of suggestions. For what make of vehicle, so if you haven't seen the report, I can send it to you.
I would like to see that. Yeah, we have a replacement cycle for the bookmobile. We put away,
Mhm,
I think, 25,000 a year
mhm.
in order to plan on replacing it. And Dottie is in her 3rd generation now, and she's getting up there in years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I would love to see that. Yeah.
And then I think months ago, the Energy Committee had a brief discussion about. I guess we were talking about the bookmobile and how does it really only get used during the summertime? And then we were thinking, well, what could be, could there be a potential to use it during the winter? For, I don't know, I can't remember the discussion. Reed, do you remember any of it? Some ideas?
Not,
uh,
not the particulars of it. No, I'm sorry.
yeah,
I actually have talked with Sarah Hibbler, our outreach librarian, about this. She's the one who drives the bookmobile.
right.
And she went to a bookmobile conference a couple years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, believe it or not,
There's a conference for
there's a
everything.
conference for everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things she brought back was a lot of the bookmobile services now are going smaller.
Mhm,
So instead of the big truck we have now, think more like a Sprinter van size.
right.
Right, right.
And then she does a lot of outreach work, even in the winter months, but she does that through her own vehicle.
Mhm.
And so if we had a smaller vehicle, there's potential to be able to use that year round, because we do monthly visits to 4 senior centers and 3 preschools.
Right.
And we do homebound delivery
Mhm.
to folks who can't physically make it to the library.
Mhm.
And so all of those things, it would be better to be able to take a smaller bookmobile on those visits rather than just
Reimbursement.
carting, boxes of books, because you have better selection.
Mhm.
And you're not
Right.
having to use your own vehicle, and you don't have to cart stuff in and out.
Yeah.
So we have talked
You're
about
not
that.
advertising yourself because it's her vehicle, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of pluses.
Yeah.
Right, I remember now that driving to senior centers, that was part of the discussion
Yes,
that we had.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I think that goes hand in hand with potentially an electric option. If it's something that's in the market for us to be able to buy, there's sort of
Mhm.
specific needs for the bookmobile.
Yeah,
But I'm sure people have solved those needs. It must be,
Mhm.
something that's just.
Go to the 2026 bookmobile conference. and- Wow.
I'll send you the fleet study,
That'd be great, thank you.
yeah.
I think we still have a little more time, right, we have till 7:15. I just
You're
wanted,
the chair, you get to do
Yeah.
whatever you want.
oh, true.
Right,
I'm here. I just want one other thing that's not related to this, but the library of things that you mentioned is something that I'm particularly fond of. Just because I see potential for, one of our tasks is to reduce consumption. And I find, I like to do a lot of do-it-yourself projects, and I find myself buying these tools that I end up using once or twice over the course of 20 years, but you need it to do the job, like there's special cutters for cutting linoleum if you're gonna redo your bathroom or something like that, or a crimping tool for PEX piping that I've used a couple of times, but so if, and I would gladly donate those tools to the library for other people to use. And I think it would save people money and reduce consumption of some of that stuff. So that's just something I wanted to.
And right now, the library of things is actually stored in the basement.
Kevin?
But the plan has that. We have a section for the library of things. That come out of the basement. It's actually, there's 2. I don't know if you probably can't see the wording, but this is the adult library of things shelving. And then this is the youth library of things. So right now it's in the basement of the 1960 building, which is the only part that has a basement. So the plan actually would be to bring those out and have them shelved where people can see them. So it's built in to have a little bit more emphasis on that, because we do find it to be something that is very appealing to sometimes a different demographic than the folks who are traditional library users, which is sort of cool.
Yeah.
Bring in other folks and serve the whole community. So, yeah,
Great, thank you.
it's a fun thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's exciting to see that, taking it out of the basement, putting it in the forefront. Recently, some of the national news broadcasters on their feature pieces on the 6 o'clock news have promoted the library of things around the country, and they're getting great followings. So it does expand that use of a public building from the traditional library to something else, to more. So very exciting.
We're gonna have to learn how to use a jackhammer. Berkeley actually had a library, a tool lending library in the seventies. They were really pioneering
Mm.
that. So,
Really?
Nice.
Mhm.
Okay,
so,
okay, thank you, Kevin.
thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate the invite. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
head out, if that's all right. Sure.
Yes,
Good.
thank you. Thank you.
Questions?
Okay.
Yeah.
For the tens part of the agenda?
Sure, if you want to, or, yeah, we can, there it is.
Yeah, and also Pat was scheduled to do the tenants update, but Pat's not here. So is that why you're here maybe, or?
I was
that
here
wasn't
about the library.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
know that.
Thank you all for your help too, on the research. I've
Sure.
talked with Reed the most.
Yeah.
Appreciate
yeah.
it.
Thanks for
All
being
right.
open to that.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Just do the update and then, so she doesn't have to stay for the.
Yeah,
Right.
should we? Move to, okay, so I will. Change course and go to the tens update now
From not Pat.
from not Pat, but Debbie.
Okay, and Melinda, jump in, because I was not thinking, I was talking about it, but generally,
Yeah.
but we have a. Small but dedicated group of people, maybe you know, there's representatives from planning and energy and. Conservation, bunch of different people, including Amjanda from the Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission. Who is able to join us because you have a representative from this committee on the group, so that allows her to be part of it as well. Thank you for that. So I did mention that a big part of our work right now is to do research on ground source heat pump systems in libraries. And also on libraries that are anchors for thermal energy networks. Because when you connect to a network, you increase the affordability and the efficiency. And it can benefit more buildings locally, especially here in the village. With the school, et cetera. So we've spoken with Chris Giard at the Champlain Valley School District about both Williston Central and Allenbrook schools and ground source heat pump updates to when they might need their HVAC updated. We've talked to the fire department and are doing all kinds of outreach. Mainly, we want to make sure that when the bond vote passes, I'll just say when, that we have research and support and connections to experts who could advise. It sounds like the team that's working on the project now is aware of ground source heat pump programs, but we want to make sure that people of the town have access to talking with people who have done ground source heat pumps in libraries or are doing that because they want to build a thermal energy network in the future. There's a library in West Union, Iowa, which is a very small rural town, but they have a ground source heat pump that is connected to a downtown system. And they have a basement that was very humid and unusable, that now, because of the dehumidification properties of the geothermal system, they're able to use that basement for renting out to a childcare center and renting out for meetings and other community events. And it's a source of revenue now for that space that was unusable. So it's a very positive story that we want to share, not just with library officials here and town people, but maybe more broadly with the community, so people are more aware of what could happen at the library. So we're assembling that information. We're also looking at the growth center, which I think we have said is sort of a longer term. We need to look into, we need to know more about what's happening with the TIF district there potentially, which could make a thermal energy network there make a lot of sense. We would need to be talking with developers who would be involved. We don't have those connections at this point, so that's a longer term investigation for the growth center, but also really important because there's going to be new construction there. There's a new program you might be aware of, the CHIP program through the Agency of Commerce, that is Community Housing and Infrastructure Program. It goes for many years. I think it might be
2035.
and it's a $2 billion program to support community infrastructure for housing projects specifically, and thermal energy networks and waste heat recovery and all the stuff we're looking at. Ground source heat pump systems are eligible measures. for that. So and
federal? Is that
It's a state program.
a state
program?
it is, yeah, so it's like a mini TIF district.
Mhm.
It's not just grants, it's a way to set something up so you get revenue back. So, and municipalities are the only eligible applicants. So the, yeah,
There you go.
so that's an interesting opportunity to include, especially as we look at the growth center. Melinda, have I missed something?
No, I think that was a pretty good synopsis.
She's like just 10 seconds. I mean, how would that work? How would the chips work for the town of Williston? Like the.
So I can, yeah, I've
the
been
meeting
doing,
would have to
There's
put in for that?
webinars.
I've been
going on
doing a
right
lot
there.
of a lot of learning about this, so. Basically, the theory behind it is, say you have a undeveloped property sitting there. Say its value is maybe $1 million or something, just the empty lot. Town is collecting a certain amount of taxes on that land now, maybe just for. This, don't quote me on this, it's just for purposes of illustration, say they're collecting. I don't know, $200,000. Of taxes on that, or maybe more like $20,000 of taxes on that every year. So, what CHIP is, it's a way of funding where you, it's based on the fact that once you develop that site, it's gonna be a lot more valuable. So say you put, an apartment building on it and the value increases to 10 million. So it's the town that that property will be paying a lot more taxes. Say that the difference between the taxes it's paying before it got developed and the taxes it's paying once it's developed. Say that's somewhere around, say that's somewhere around, I don't know, $100,000 is the difference. The CHIP program says that the municipality can take up to 85% of that increment value and use it to pay off the debt for any infrastructure that gets built on the property. So that can be used to finance the infrastructure, that using that tax increment up to 20 years. You have up to 20 years to use that to pay off your debt. And then once the debt is paid off, then the full amount of taxes goes to the municipality and they can just, basically get the value from that increased taxes on that property. So does that make sense?
Oh, but the
Because
town,
it sounds
So in
like-
that way, it's kind of, the town doesn't give up money in the sense that it's new money. And it's just a delay in when they
Right,
see that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right, and whereas if the property just sat undeveloped, then the town wouldn't get any benefit from,
yeah,
added
but the
taxes.
town doesn't have to finance that's what they're getting out of having to finance it, but. The payoff is they're just diverting that 80% of the tax increase
Right,
to pay for that.
right.
I see.
But what's the trigger though for that? Like, what's to prevent a developer from just developing that lot tomorrow with or without the
well,
chips? Like how?
Yeah, so this is really intended for properties where that ordinarily wouldn't be developed but for that incentive. So if there's a property that's distressed that needs some remediation or demolition of a old building and remediation, and say a developer today would say, well, that property needs a lot of work. I don't know, I don't think it'd be worth it to develop it. So this creates, a financing incentive that makes it worthwhile to develop that property.
Well, yeah, I don't see, what does the developer get out of it? He gets a heating system, but
Well,
that the town pays for with the incremented.
well, what the developer gets is just, they can, anytime they develop a property, they'll get some profit off of that development, and this enables them to get that profit. Makes it worthwhile, in other words, for them to develop that property because they're getting some financing through TIF that makes it worth their while, otherwise.
Like they
would
wouldn't
buy
have to
it
pay
because-
to demolish that
Right,
building or something, because that
exactly.
would be taken care of, so it's reducing their cost.
The caveat with the CHIP program is that it has to be used for housing, for new housing. You can have a mixed use building, but 60% of it has to be dedicated for housing. There's an incentive to use it for affordable housing if 15% or more of the homes are affordable, then you get to use, basically you get to use the CHIP program without having what they call the but-for test. Like, you don't have to prove that the development otherwise wouldn't have happened without, the CHIP. Whereas if it's market rate homes, you would have that but-for test. You would really have to prove that without CHIP, the property wouldn't get developed at all. So I know it's like,
Sure.
how it relates to ground source heat pumps is that's like CHIP money is used to fund infrastructure that supports the housing on the property. And a ground source heating system or connected thermal network qualifies as infrastructure. So that's kind of a long-winded way
No,
of
that's
getting around to that, right?
Yep. So a developer is incentivized to include this clean energy system because it is an infrastructure system that's covered by the CHIP program.
Great.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, that's.
Okay. All right, so that's it, that's everything for tens then, right? So then we can move on to. Let's see, the EV priority locations for future EV charging stations.
And maybe this is where I'll say thank you and.
Thanks, Debbie.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you very
coming.
much.
Appreciate it.
Nice to talk to you.
Good luck, I hope, sounds great. Yeah. New building right here and a school across the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good evening.
Yeah, you too.
see ya.
So. I have heard from Ann Janda that there's likely gonna be additional NEVI funding. You're laughing.
Been hearing this for 3 years.
Ne-
I forget what the acronym
It's the
stands
energy,
for.
yes, the EV
It's
charging
EV
infrastructure.
charging.
Yeah, less for
Electric.
EVs and more for charging, yeah.
Yeah.
For charging, yeah,
Yeah.
so, what I heard from Ann is that there is, some surplus funding that will be distributed to RPCs to award, I mean, basically it'll be awarded to RPCs, and RPCs will, regional planning commissions will decide, like, I don't know, somehow they'll decide who gets it, or they'll put out an RFP or something like
It's based on whether or not you already have a certain amount of infrastructure, right?
that.
At least that's the way I understood for Lamoille.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't.
And it's
No.
fast charging. So I
Um,
understand.
I don't,
It's, I think it's more, it's inclined more, I don't know,
I don't think it just has to be.
it
fast charging.
doesn't just
Yeah.
have to be.
It doesn't have to, be.
No.
Okay, I thought that was prioritized.
But it
That was the
may,
initial.
it may be
the big line.
prioritized though, I'm not sure, it may be still prioritized, but. I don't know, but
Yeah.
But anyway, so Anne was encouraging us to think about, I mean, basically, the other thing she said is that. It's really gonna be used for shovel-ready projects, so
Would the library count? Like, would you be able to tack on
maybe.
spaces to the new parking lot at the library?
I could see that for level 2 charging, I don't really see putting a, I mean, so. a location for fast chargers is gonna be someplace that's
It's a
right.
pretty good one.
Jack's
Yeah,
Corners,
yeah, gonna be like in.
You know,
probably in
the
town.
best place would be, V-Trans would say no, is the parking
The
ride.
ride, yeah. Well, the reason why they can't put one there is they've got some stipulation with their federal funding that they can't put anything in there where you would be charging a fee for anything.
Yeah,
That's what I.
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
what I
okay,
heard.
is that what it was? I thought it
Yeah.
was, they didn't want people taking up parking spaces. But,
no, I disagree with that though, because I don't think anyone traveling through. And from the highway is gonna wanna sit in a rest area for 45 minutes while they charge. It's
Yeah.
better if they're on this side of the
Yeah, I
highway.
think the library.
Yeah.
With his
Like-
restaurants, shopping.
You can go
Well, if
there,
you
but-
meet somebody and you need a charge, but that's kind of more, of,
Yeah,
why didn't you charge at home? Hey,
yeah.
okay.
Anyway.
You're right, no, good point.
So what do they need, like, what do they need to be considered a priority location? Or are we just picking spots?
You're just, I mean, so priority, what I mean, like,
Shovel ready.
what would you consider to be a priority location? And then,
Uh-huh,
No,
and encouraged us to like. Have, work with GMP and. You're laughing.
Yeah.
Um,
I just love when you're like encouraged to do more work, like, it's just.
okay, well, so there's a bunch of Tesla chargers near
Healthy
the
living.
pizza place, yeah.
Felinos and Healthy Living.
Felinos and Healthy Living,
I think
but
you,
there's not, I mean,
you had brought
that's,
up,
I don't wanna go to Tesla charger side.
right,
Did you hear what he said this week? Or his latest text about that white people, if they drop below 50% of the population, they're gonna be threatened. Or like, we're it's
all right,
it's over.
no national news. at
We
this
don't need to
meeting.
get into what you said.
You had mentioned the town-owned parcel. And
Yeah.
I actually think, I agree, I think that would. That would be.
Yeah, I
Or-
think
yeah.
there's certainly power nearby.
And
And
there's
it's
parking.
town owned, and the town could, if we can, you had mentioned maybe getting a third party to. Invest and develop it, but maybe lease it from the town. Or something like that, or,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of charging vendors, some of the, big charging vendors, they'll just, do, basically. Yeah, have some agreement with the town where they lease it to them, or they just, they put it in and, and then after like 5 years, then you can renegotiate like
Oh,
an
yeah.
agreement, and so. With this funding, I think this funding would cover like the first 5 years of that agreement with whatever vendor you're using, whether it's blank or charge
Huh.
point or something, so.
And there's parking there, right? It's already
There's
paved,
parking
there's,
there.
there's parking there, so it's a really easy, and probably the power. You have the 400 with the high. the
Yeah, that's
high
where
power-
GMP
High power
would
lines
come in
to,
kind of
right,
do that.
but they're probably right there, so that's not gonna be a great expense, I would think.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they are probably
there's-
pretty close.
Yeah, so there have been times like when I was charging a lot at, this was free. At the Hannafords, when it was, what was the other company?
The-
EVgo,
It
'cause
was
you got that
EVgo, I
free,
used to
yeah.
live there.
Yeah.
So that used to fill up, I mean, and in Essex Junction too,
Mhm,
there's plenty of times when you could not get a charger.
yeah,
And so. This is in close proximity, and it's also somebody who's traveling long distance, say they're going from Boston to Montreal.
yeah,
That location would be, so it's actually how many would make sense there.
mhm,
Because it's really important to put it on the map. But it's, for long distance travelers, it's pretty close to the highway and.
yeah,
And
and.
that's who needs fast chargers.
Right, and it doesn't necessarily have to be on town property either, it could be, maybe. Maybe Finney Crossing has an interest in putting a free charger, maybe Maple Tree Place. to
Yeah.
pull it in somewhere,
But what incentive would they have really?
well, this funding.
Yeah,
basically,
they pay
just,
for it, yeah.
get the first 5 years paid for and
Mhm.
then, thereafter. Whatever,
Um,
out.
but one thing it would also, I know you were having a problem with the Maple Tree Place, recognizing that as our property. So
Yeah.
if we assert.
I mean,
Do a little assertion there and say, and I think that location's not bad, because there's pretty good, is there good visibility? I mean,
Well-
so, really.
People don't need to see it to find it, though. They're
Yeah,
gonna put it on
they're
their
like
app, on the
Yeah,
maps
that's
and
true.
stuff,
They
you
don't-
know.
Yeah, so
Be like,
that's what I've told my wife all the time.
Reed's
I
got-
don't care about the sign on the road.
yeah,
Hey, Reed.
Yeah, along those lines about, not having to see it from the highway, I met a family in North Carolina when I was traveling down here, and they had an EV. So a husband, wife, 2 kids, and a dog. And I spoke to them about traveling with an EV long distance, and they said, well, they map out all their stopping places,
Yeah.
so they know, the distance their car can go with 4 people in it and a dog, and where they're going to find a fast charger. Of course, they're on the I-95 corridor, which is a little easier, but it's still, they don't have to see it. They just know, hey, at this exit, we're going to pull off and we're going to spend 30 minutes here at a high-speed charger and move on. So I think I like the whole concept of that little parking lot by Shaw's, from a development perspective.
And you could walk to coffee shops and food
Mhm.
Lots
Yep.
of,
stations
lots
Yep.
of,
Yeah.
shops around there,
and shops around.
Yep.
unlike the Walmarts where a lot of those.
yeah,
Charging
I mean,
station.
I sat at a Chevy dealership for a long time in White River.
I
You
did.
know, they had a great
yeah, that-
charger, but
Yeah,
I just sat in their showroom and watched the news for a while, and it
Yeah.
was probably Fox or something on there, so.
was it a free charger or was
That's
it?
No,
No, okay,
not free by any stretch of the
yeah,
imagination.
okay. Okay. Yeah,
I like my library parking lot better.
I mean, I think,
What,
you're gonna,
sorry, yeah, what do you need from us? Like, how do we, cause we should put in sites. I mean, there's no reason not
Yeah.
to. But
Yeah. just.
We'll just give you some random screenshots and.
Well, I mean, we can, I don't know if we have to nail down a specific location like tonight, but, just if there's interest in pursuing this, then I'll pursue it.
And what about here for the town vehicles? Are they putting in charges already? Is that the plan?
Have you
Yeah.
looked back there?
They're in.
I'm plugged into one right now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
on.
Are they, is it
Level
level
twos.
1,
Level
level 2? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good.
yeah, and well,
And they're paid or they're free?
yeah, no, they're paid, they're.
Hopefully you get a cut, or if not a cut, but.
No, I don't,
Erase the
I don't
thing.
get any, I don't get any discounts.
No discount.
No, I use it from time to time because it's convenient.
But you get to hang out in your office. What do you mean you don't get a discount?
Right,
Yeah, it's,
okay, there are perks, yeah.
Good.
But, and then another, as far as, to chargers, I mean, I guess it's a question for you guys
I think we should do a fast charger site and a level 2 charger site.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
In the
I don't.
village?
I mean, I
there's-
understand the traveling person, but
Yeah.
we should also benefit the community, right? I mean, I
Mhm.
feel like a level 2 is more of the local
Yeah,
traveler.
Yeah.
So there's 2 level 2 ports over in the park and there's 2 back here in the parking lot. Do you think we need?
I thought the park was level 1.
No, they're
Was
level
level
2.
2, oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Do we need additional ones? Beyond the
Well,
4 that we have in the
It'd be
village?
good to ask I wonder about the schools, do the teachers use probably use the ones in the park, it's a nice walk to the school.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard from one teacher who they said they would like chargers closer to the school.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe maybe the
The
library.
library
Yeah.
makes sense, I think.
Yeah, there's the Allenbrook School, maybe that one, there's nothing there.
Right.
Really.
Or maybe when they pave that area that's the dirt parking lot by what is that, the old schoolhouse or something on the
Uh-huh.
green over there?
Yeah.
You know, that little, it's gonna be a little like 7 or 10 space.
Uh-huh.
That might be a spot for some level twos, maybe. We don't have our map anymore.
Let's see, actually, I was gonna bring it
But
up.
this library's not a done deal, right? It has to pass
No,
the
I know.
bond.
It's
I
not a
know.
done deal, but hopefully.
I personally think, I don't really feel like a level 3 makes sense in the village. But maybe it does, maybe to add
Is this
one over
available
here.
on the
Here we
Williston
go.
town
I
website?
mean,
On
you
the
know,
library.
like for
website.
Stowe,
on the
right,
library.
Stowe has, our level 3 is up the mountain road by Vale. And so at night, you're sitting in a dark park, trying to charge your
Yeah.
vehicle. And and people have called to say that they don't feel that comfortable being up there.
Hmm.
And you know, like, whatever, it's not,
Yeah,
I can only listen to what they say. But I feel like it being with things around it. I mean, it just feels like it'd be used more if it was right here by the
Yeah.
library. And I think certainly during the day.
yeah, but for people that are at work, you can get away with a level 2,
For sure.
right? Cause you can sit there for 5 or 8 hours or whatever you need to do, but
And, yeah, I mean, it seems like a level 3 is really only when you're on a long road trip.
yeah.
And you need to recharge it.
That's why I thought it made more sense for level
Yeah.
3 at
At the,
Taft's Corners.
Yeah.
Or it actually, you know, if someone doesn't have a home charger,
Yeah, they're using
then
it too.
But-
they might be, you know, they get home late and they need to charge the car and be out the next day.
even then, like you can still get away with level
Well, you
2
can get.
and they're so much cheaper to use to charge.
Yeah,
We have a number of people who use the fast charger that are locals too soon.
Really?
It's just that they're in an HOA that doesn't have level 2 or trickle charge. And that's their
Okay.
routine. They'll get up in the morning, they'll park at the park, they'll walk their dog for half an hour. And then they go.
oh, yeah.
The level 2
Level-
charge.
The level
Yeah.
3.
Oh, that's pretty.
Wait,
Yeah.
The
And
fast charger.
where? Oh, it's
He's saying in
so-
Stowe they do
sorry,
that,
yeah.
And
yeah.
then the rec path, that's where they'll use the rec path and they'll go do whatever for 4 hours and that's more of like a
Yeah,
mix between the tourists and the.
right.
Yeah, and it's, you know, there's a lot of housing down in the growth center. On
Yeah.
Finney Crossing and Annex. So a lot of houses and they don't have chargers.
Right.
Mhm.
It's not convenient for them. They can't run a wire out their
Yeah.
window, right? So
Mhm.
maybe there's a good place too. I don't know, if
Yeah.
working with Finney Crossing to put in something that's kind of can get the annex people too and.
I mean, there are at least 2 locations where there's level 2 chargers within Finney. There's the bank
Yeah.
and then there's the hotel.
Mhm.
There's actually 3 locations.
And then all
There's
the Tesla.
the new hotel, yeah, and then all the Teslas, so.
Yeah. And
But
and
there's
those,
no residents, like.
There-
I don't know how that would be pretty costly to put it in over there, you know, you have to dig out the parking lot.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, where,
It's like
how
you're
is
in
it,
the-
what do you think,
in the
you live
garage.
there, Reed, is it,
well, I know when I spoke to, oh, who was it?
Scott?
Scott, yeah, he said he was looking into it, but I don't think there was anything on his real plans for putting it in for the apartment buildings. And like Melinda said, every time they've put in a new commercial building, or the hotels in particular, they've put, a pair of, basically 4 plugins for level 2s, and they're fairly busy. You can find times when they're not full. And for the homeowners in Finney, the area I'm in, and then the annex, which is homeowners, those are, everybody can put in their own charger if they want. So, there's not a lot.
Even if Finney can in the apartment?
No, in the
No,
apartment.
in the homeowners
Yeah,
area,
homeowners, yeah.
homeowners. And then the new annex area, they're all wired for it up through the garage. I don't know if their apartments are going to be that way. They are putting in 2 new apartment buildings right now. And I don't know if those, they usually have a underground parking area, and I don't know whether those are going to be wired or not.
Well, it's in the new town plan. I don't know if it's in bylaw yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's certainly a lot of options to think
Yeah.
about and put together maybe we could put together a piece and discuss it more and put a vote on it when we have a full crew in hand of what we want to do, what we want to approach.
Mm.
Yeah, can we just start like a list of locations and then we can
Yeah.
then to work off?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I can do like, I think I did this before, but maybe I can do a map of existing and proposed.
Oh, yeah.
And just
Good.
bring it for you to look at.
And this is starting January 1st, or is it starting July? Which fiscal year is this?
Is what, sorry,
For the grants to cover this?
we don't know, but it could be like any month now, they
Oh,
can
but
announce it and
It's
then.
not in the, not in like with a new fiscal
Are
year.
you cupcaking for that?
Not necessarily, it's just,
Mhm.
Anne sort of knew about it and she wasn't sure when
Yeah.
it was gonna happen.
It'd be
so-
good that for us to
Just kinda
be
give us-
ready,
yeah.
ready for it, and then if it does come, then we can
Yeah.
pull the trigger on it.
Yep,
Great,
okay.
okay. Let's see. Looks like our next item on the agenda is the 2026 outreach events ideas.
So just to sort of preface this discussion, there's been internal discussions among staff of whether or not to combine Energy Fair with Town Fair Green Up Day. And, sort of have a list of pros and cons. One of the cons of having the fair in the fall is that it competes against a lot of other energy fairs and everything, fall festivals and people out, hiking. It's just really nice weather and people are out doing their things and plus, school's in session and I don't know, it's just, whereas in the spring, it just seems like there's a lot more energy for people wanna like. People have been cooped up all winter and they wanna,
Yeah.
there's this event that gets people outdoors and.
That is
People-
generally when people buy cars too, and
Right.
so maybe people are car shopping and it might get some people in for our EVs and stuff.
The cons of doing it in the spring are. Potentially just. Sort of overwhelming with, like, as it is, the town fair green up day. Had a big tent with like all these tables, right? So if energy fair happens at the same time in the same place. Well, we have to get another big tent, and then where would the EVs be displayed,
Yeah,
if it's on town green. Anyway, it's just, there are pros and cons to that. There is, there was mention of both events being a little stale at this point.
Hmm.
So, I guess the question is, do you wanna do Energy Fair? Do you wanna do other things instead? I don't know, these are all things to think about. If you did Energy Fair, do you wanna do it in the spring or the fall? So.
How
How would we
certainly,
like spruce up the event, like, it's one, I mean, it's like there's this untapped strategy of these events that we haven't thought of. Like, what were the ideas for if they're growing stale, like what are the ideas to make them more?
We don't have any ideas.
Oh, right, okay.
So, but anyway, Reed,
Reed has his hand. Go ahead, Reed.
Well, I agree, we, sprucing it up, and it seems like the bigger events are bringing in more, more sideshows to go with it, more food, more bouncy houses, more this, that to draw people. I don't know whether it gets them any more viewers looking at the energy tables or not. I like the idea of combining it with the town fair, just because that one has been growing in popularity. What is it, Melinda, in its third year or so?
I believe so,
Yeah,
yes.
and we're in our third or fourth year, and pulling the two together in the spring, I just, I know really, even though it's just January, it would come up on us really, really quickly. But I think we could get some good enthusiasm out of townspeople who want to come to it. If we had it together. Now, the location is the other thing. Do they want to have it on the town green again, where they've always had it, or do they want to move it somewhere else? Yeah.
I think they probably have it on Town Green.
Mm-hmm.
Waterbury's Leap, I think they call it Leap.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's well attended, right? I mean, my understanding is that.
it's very well attended.
That's
Yeah.
well,
It's huge.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
So is there, like,
amazing.
Can we like trend to something closer to that, or is that just because of where they're located?
It's way out of our scope.
Why?
They, they have
I mean, I'm
like,
not
they
saying-
have like, breakout sessions, don't they have like
Yeah,
classroom
yeah,
talks? and they get
Have you-
speakers?
Classrooms.
No, but I've been
Yeah.
told that
It-
model
it's-
our stuff off of that.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
I'm not
gigantic
suggesting
gymnasium.
that scale, I'm just saying, like, are there things
Yeah.
to? And they
Well,
don't
we
have it in
do,
the spring, right?
we do.
They're
They
doing
do.
it-
They
we're
have
doing
It's
it.
a small scale
It's-
inside,
It's in April.
but we don't do the education sessions. But we have some of the same people, that are presenting, or not presenting, but tabling at Leaf, we've had them. So we kind of have a smaller scale version of it, but
Well, so
not as dynamic, nowhere near
Yeah.
as dynamic, yeah.
if that's in the spring, then we'll compete against,
I mean,
right?
no, because they have theirs like in early April. This town fair green up days in May, early May, so it's not exactly. I don't know, I mean,
And the same people who would tear up for the town fair are people who are interested in energy
Yeah.
type things. So I think it's you're
Yeah,
getting,
that's
you're getting
good.
the people there, and you're also being kind to them because you're not stealing two days to them from them. You know, they get it all done in one.
Yeah,
um. The other, well, the benefit really to town fair would be that we still have, our MERP grant money to spend out and there's, so
This year.
this year, so we have to spend it out this year.
And then, and having it in the fall, cause isn't that when there's like, it's like Drive Electric Month is in the fall, and that
Yeah.
didn't seem to really
yeah,
matter.
Yeah, I
Like, it
mean-
didn't really drive
Yeah,
folks'
Yeah, but-
cars just because it was.
Well, yeah,
and
Because I-
honestly, like with the EV display, I did not see a lot of people looking at EVs. I mean,
well, I
maybe
wasn't
you guys
there
did,
this year. I was there the year before.
but
yeah.
Yeah.
this,
This
I
year.
I saw. A bunch of EVs and not very much traffic over there.
yeah.
I don't know, I mean, there wasn't much traffic with the event,
I mean, the woman with the lightning was making coffee and stuff.
yeah, that was kind of cool,
Yeah,
yeah,
but,
That's now vintage, it's not.
yeah, I know.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
we can try it for a year, and if we feel like it dilutes us in some way, we can always go back to. To
Yeah.
doing our own event, like we can be flexible, if we're not committing to a 10-year.
And we had, and
And
each of the presenters brought their own tents.
Yeah,
So we
I
would
know,
need space, we would need a space, we would need a big tent.
yeah, although it might be. I don't know, it,
Could be better.
Yeah, I don't think we would need our own tent, because we would just be sort of set up. Like, we could still have our own table. In the past, we've shared a table in the tent with someone at the green up
Right.
day thing, so
I just-
we would still have a table in there maybe
Yeah,
for the committee part, but
And
our
there's-
EVs and other vendors would all be outside.
yeah,
And we could even be at a
Get
different
the free ice
location.
cream
We could
again.
be, we could be in this parking lot. Or
Mhm.
something and set up out front, cause you're right here. Where is it, the town fair is like, I thought it was out
it's on the green.
behind, in
Not just on the green, right?
It's on the green, right?
Right
Right
at
at
this,
the-
okay, yes, okay. So that's, yeah, so we could be on this side of the road.
Possibly, yeah.
We'd have room for the EVs
Mhm.
and we could be on
Charging
the
station.
front lawn. This is big front lawn right here.
Green,
Yeah, so just talking about location, because with the town fair, I mean, you do have vendors, probably a half a dozen, and who bring their tents already that are
Mhm.
outside of the town tent. Um, ours could just be an extension of that, work with the folks from the town. Who is it? Is it just the planning department that puts this together?
and Aaron,
And Aaron,
Um,
and so, okay, if we get, 10 energy vendors, they would just distribute across that whole green area. That's and I can see, Kevin, if you had, to Kevin's point, if you had EVs across the street on display, because that's the biggest place you have for a parking lot for them. But another thing is maybe don't do EVs, just do energy.
yeah,
Because I agree with Melinda, your comment, we had our cars parked there, and there was very little traffic compared to previous years as far as interest in the vehicles.
So maybe we just still, if we are on the green, we're also, since not gonna have as much, I don't think this parking lot would work, just because if you look at it, I mean, it's like a good 200 yards down the street.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
right across from us.
I mean,
But I think if we pared down, maybe we could pare down our EV selection to just some of the more interesting, or maybe the newer models, or something like that.
Yeah, and. I
And
think
just have 5 or 6 EVs instead of like this, the way we do it now is let's get as many as we can,
Right.
like maybe just have a select few. And, because I remember the tent does take up a pretty good amount of that area. But
Right.
if we could, since the cars can only be on that dirt area, or since they're gonna redo the green anyway, we can just trash it, right? No, just kidding.
Yeah,
But we
there's,
could-
right where on the corner there, right?
Yeah, on
You
the-
see that,
way over
where
to
there's
the
one
left.
parking spot for the old schoolhouse?
this one,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you, isn't that where that you set up there?
That's what it's.
Yeah,
That's where you
the
set
tent
up.
goes.
right?
Yeah. Right,
I mean, I don't know, like,
vendors could be scattered in the trees.
maybe,
Yes.
or the advantage to getting another tent, having a
Yeah,
tent.
scavenger hunt.
You have one tent for like the typical town fair, and then you have the other tent for energy stuff. And then
Right.
if it rains, you're still okay. People
Yes.
will still come. Like I remember last year, it did rain, and we had a ton of people come to that, and they all like went inside the tent and they,
Oh, yeah.
milled around and
Yeah,
talked to us.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's cool.
They did. Yes, it was kind of cold that day. I remember that.
It was
Yeah,
cold and rainy.
yeah, that's one of the cons of being in the spring is,
Yeah,
Well-
really lucked out.
but
with
they
the
got, you got.
September-
But-
September
beat.
weather.
But the
But-
thing is, if it's nice out, people are gonna be wanting to do other stuff outside.
Right. It has the advantage because we tie it to Green Up Day. So it's already an event that people have
Yeah.
been doing for decades. And the fact that, the town event is coming into its 4th year, people are every year that I've been to it, it's gotten bigger and bigger, at least from a attendance perspective. So if
Mhm.
we, if we scatter, a nice big tent that the vendors could set up in would be interesting. Maybe we'd have less vendors, or at least they don't have to bring their own tents then.
Right.
They have a table. They just stack
Mhm.
them up in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You can probably get 8 to 10 vendors under that tent that we had, because that's about how many tables were under the one the town had.
Mhm. Yeah.
Getting back to EVs, I still think that that's, like a topic that might even create interest is, are EVs still relevant? Are they, and they're very important to the future if we ever have any hope of,
Gonna go controversial on this, man, wow.
well, let's talk about, what do you call it? National issues here. So
No.
I won't get into it, but, it's, I think it's, we're on an energy committee, we all know that, I believe we all know that EVs are important to get away from internal combustion engines, which are producing a lot of CO2.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of Venezuelan oil to use, of course.
Cheap Venezuelan oil. Because the Venezuelan people are gonna pay for it.
That's right.
We won't pay for
Yeah, no, I think it's worth, I guess it's worth trying, I don't know. And even the EV suggestion ties into the green article with the solar, right?
Mhm.
Solar's still out, valid.
So is it actually on Green Up Day? Yeah.
It is,
Was it-
yeah.
Yes, it is on
So,
Green
I
Up Day.
wonder if, do you think there's any chance our usual vendors,
Oh, might not.
it may affect the availability of some of them?
Yeah, that's
Maybe
possible.
like the solar people and stuff are already doing things, or I don't know.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is, we're going to be competing, no matter when we hold it, we're competing against other events.
Yeah,
And so
last year
if you say, well, we know when this is, it's Green Up Day. You put a pin in the thing, it's in April, and you start contacting people like now and say, if we can commit to this. And to Kevin's point, yes, EVs are still important. Maybe we've had 25 of them. Maybe we have, as Matt said, maybe we have 10, and
Yeah,
if you get 10 vendors instead of 18 vendors, well, that's still 10 vendors that want to show up and talk to the public.
yeah,
Right, and last year, I thought it was the opposite, it was that in September, they were rushing to do things before the incentives went away, so that was a lot of.
Solar was certainly, yeah.
And
Yeah.
heat pumps too,
Yeah.
although that went away federally, but not statewide now.
So. Oh, I think it seems that in recent years, a lot of people do their green up before Green Up Day.
Right.
It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting, but
Mhm.
like we always
Yeah,
get.
you have the bags out.
Coming
earlier.
in, yeah, and people come in for their bags and they're all saying, oh, we're gonna green up this week, and instead of on
Yeah.
Saturday, and
yeah.
but. So maybe that, and that's it.
So if they've already picked up their trash on Saturday, that gives them more of an incentive to come to the town fair slash,
Right.
energy fair, because it becomes an event to come to.
Mm,
Yeah,
And we've had ice cream vendors there before. We've had other people. It's an interesting idea.
mhm. Well, I don't know, keep it in mind, it could be that an executive decision gets made from on high that we will not combine the two, but right now it seems like there's at least interest to do that, and
yeah.
well, yeah,
Well,
Keep an eye on that.
yeah, I mean, a decision will be made soon, because we have to prep for it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Who's gonna ultimately decide that?
Probably Aaron, assistant town manager.
Okay. All right. Good, we're running out of time here, so. What's the other, was there any other business?
the
that we needed
Observer
to-
article.
Just the Observer article, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
And great job, Reed, on
thank you.
yours.
Thank you, Michael, for all the comments too. I think it's ready to go. I read through it again today after putting it down for 24 hours and it seems readable and understandable.
Yeah, that's very
yeah.
good.
If people don't have any other comments, I'll send it in, get it off my plate. I was thinking of next month's. It's the end of February that it'll be published, and then the library vote will be right after that on the 3rd of March. Do we write an article about the things that Kevin talked about today on the energy part of the
I
of the
think
library plan?
That's a great idea.
Not pushing to say, hey, you got to vote for this, but here's what the town, as part of this great expansion project or, you know, proposed expansion project, we're considering all these energy conservation, energy saving, dollar saving components within here, from insulation to windows to heat pumps, and renovating the old part as well as putting in all new part.
Here,
And
here.
just based on information from the library plan, and probably could get it from Kevin from the designers. You could put together a 600-700 word article really quickly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Good idea.
Eric, hey,
There.
Also gonna
Are you,
make a
is that
plug for the
Eric
left turn lane.
volunteering to do
Yeah,
that article?
Eric's passionate
Eric,
about that.
I think he just volunteered.
I can do that if we can get the, if you guys can send me the, because that's an easy one. I'm gonna put a plug in for the left turn lane though.
Yeah.
sounds like they're gonna do that, yeah.
'Cause if people that drop their kids off at WCS hear about that,
Mhm.
they'd pay $1 million.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
So is I heard Williston Central School is planning on redeveloping their parking lot. Or
Where'd you
the
hear that?
entranceway and everything, so is that?
I don't know, I haven't heard anything
No,
about that.
really, I can't believe that. I thought they already they had a whole plan.
Well, maybe
I-
it's just the additional, the left turn lane there to alleviate the, like.
No, I thought it was a major of the entranceway and the circulation,
Where did you hear that,
major
Kevin?
redo and that, they have a plan.
Where'd you hear that?
I forget, but I know I heard it.
They're just starting rumors.
It's not, like, the president has plans too, and he forgets those as well.
I heard it at the election committee.
Okay,
Okay,
So I heard
it's
it's because I've been with Wilson on the Move. That we spoke and.
Hopes and dreams.
Hey, I'm the chair today, Kevin, so.
Okay, shut up.
This.
Okay, so it's 8 o'clock now, so
Yes.
I adjourn the Energy Committee meeting.
okay.
Thank you
We're
very
done.
much. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Night.
Bye.
See you.
Good night.